This is Dr. Mubin Sayed from drbeen.com. Today, this is our fourth session for the day. Today, this is the first time we have 4 sessions in one day. Thank you very much for your attention, for listening, for your interest in these discussions. So this is our little chit-chat time now. Let us have some questions and discuss them. So DDS says, hi. DDS, you're first as well. Steve says, not third. Yes, the second. Loretta says, hello. Hello back to you. Hi back to you, Jim from Iowa. Hello. Claire Robinson, Kitty Bean is back. Absolutely. Welcome. Steve, how close is Israel now to having vaccinated all adults? So let's look at that. I thought that they were, I think, first dose about 57% and second dose near 52 or 3%. So let's see. So here we have Israel, and they are 10 million population, 55.2% population coverage. Let us look at their so 57.8%, so I was pretty close. 57.8% first dose coverage and 52.6% second dose. So pretty close. They are reaching near the herd immunity. Nancy Camp says, first, welcome. Charles, welcome. Doug Gross says, last. That is funny. All right, so let's see. Arun has a question that he had in the last chat as well. So let me go find Arun. I'm going to try to find your question. I just saw it. Stephen Westman says, looking sharp tonight, Dr. Bean. Thank you very much. So as I said before, between my winter clothes and the summer clothes, this is the time for the transition. And I have to find my t-shirts and those. So till that time, you're going to be stuck with me wearing some of these formal shirts. Okay, so Arun, if a person is COVID positive and becomes okay, recovers, and sometime he takes a vaccine, and after some time he takes a vaccine, will the person need the second dose? Is it right that the first infection works as the first vaccine? Absolutely. I actually think that in many cases they don't even need the vaccine. But let's say they are going to go for the vaccine. One dose is good enough as well. And generally, if you are going to have the first dose, then take the second dose as well. Violet Meadow says, thank you so much for helping me stay sane. Absolutely, you're most welcome. Liza says, why no vaccine for kids with CF? With CF? CF meaning what, Liza? Janet says 57.8% first dose, 52.6% second dose, Israel. Janet, what is this data point? Okay, so cystic fibrosis, I believe. Okay, so you're talking about, I thought cystic fibrosis, but I wanted to understand. So, of course, those children who are at risk, children, adults who are at risk, they should take vaccines. Generally, I think now cool beans know it from the time. I'm very, very careful about children. I'm not a pediatrician, neither do I want to say something that risks children because they are the most important entities in our lives. Zia says, hi, Dr. Bean and Cool Beans. Wow, I'm not late. Absolutely. Welcome. All right. Jim, I didn't know they had winter clothes in Southern California. So, Jim, this is funny. When I moved from Massachusetts to California, I believe the time was winter here. And I was coming from, after living 13 years in Massachusetts, where we used to go out for working in snowstorms, and there used to be feet of snow and so on. And then I saw over here that people were wearing jackets, and I did not even feel any cold at all. And I was kind of surprised. But now I have become that comfortably spoiled person as well, that the winter that is coming, or the now that spring that is coming, or the summer, I have clothes. So you are correct. Yes. So Liza, let me then see the question. So yes, children who are at risk should take vaccine. Um, okay, questions. Arun says, is it right that Pfizer has the most vaccine-oriented problems, the last effective vaccine, the least effective? So I am still working on comparison. I actually started this today, but what happened was somehow I became distracted. I did a discussion in the morning about AstraZeneca that made some of the cool beans really angry. And they just started insulting me and started putting comments everywhere and started just creating a lots of unhappy situation in the threads. And I had to first, I tried to discuss with them, but it seemed like they were just upset that why am I talking about AstraZeneca? My reason was very simple. I told that to my family members as well, that, hey, if any of you is going to take AstraZeneca, make sure that you have anti-clotting remedies with you. And maybe that is true for Moderna and for others as well. I haven't yet seen those. But these folks thought that I am somehow unjustifiably targeting AstraZeneca, and why am I talking about this? And then they started putting comments like, well, your chance of dying is more with natural infection than this, or lottery ticket winning is more chance than the simple answer is, man, there are 8 people who died. In one country, there are 18 people who died, and saving them was a simple process of using anti-clotting drugs. So what is that problem? If I receive AstraZeneca and if I develop thrombosis, shouldn't my doctor know and my family know that, hey, give him anti-clotting and he'll be saved? Why should I hide that information? And so these folks just wanted me to not talk about it. And I said, I'm trying to present a solution. I'm making people aware. If there is some other vaccine we should do it, that would come to light as well, and we'll discuss that too. So those discussions distracted me so much. People then started, of course, on the internet warriors, it is easier to just start calling people names and shills and whatever, and threats for arresting me. And so it just became weird. All right. Let's see. Steve says, Canada is seeing the variants starting to take off there, and because they haven't had as much natural infection immunization as the US, they're more vulnerable. Yes, you're correct. Question. So April says mRNA vaccines contain polyethylene glycol, which has never been used in vaccine before. Polyethylene glycol is the main ingredient for antifreeze, with anaphylaxis being reported. So why is there not more concern about this? There is concern about this, and we have actually talked about it as well. And we have talked about it that, hey, they are saying that if you are severely allergic, don't get it. And even now, if you see the commentary here, many of the cool beans say, I'm allergic to this, should I get it or not? So I don't see that there is any reason to hide anything. Remember, I talked about Moderna, that very first early time. I talked about Moderna and I felt it was a great vaccine. And then I did one more video where I said Moderna is not giving data. They're not backing up what they're doing. It seems like we are cheated. It seems like we were taken for a ride. And I talked about Moderna that way as well. It is not my fault that AstraZeneca came out with 62% efficacy and 94% efficacy, and here is 72%. And then it was AstraZeneca who came up with half dose and full dose. Then they came up with this duration and that duration. And then they came up with lately in US that the results are this, and then the board says, hey, what are you doing? And then they come back and they change the result, although I feel the results were fine even after changing. Or this kind of, they have in their trial results that we saw clotting, but they said it is similar as in other people as well. These AstraZeneca debacles are not my generated debacles. So it is kind of weird that people just become upset with me that why am I talking about them? Okay, so Fishtail, Pfizer, the vaccine had an efficacy of 92.6 after the first dose. So somebody who asked me about the Pfizer, I just showed you the Pfizer's efficacy from trials. It is interesting to see their efficacy now from Israel as well. I do not know compared to other. For example, what I could not find was in the US, just like Israel's data, in the US to say so many Modernas, so many Pfizers, here is the list of all the vaccine related side effects, deaths, anaphylaxis, plus here is the result in people. I don't see that data yet, and we should have that data. And this is what, Mark, I was talking about in the morning, that it is a simple solution of using, and I'm going to use the researchers link instead of me saying something. So the researchers had said, let me just open it. Maybe some of you actually saw this. I was really surprised that some cool beans thought that I should not have presented this. So here researchers, what was interesting for me was, and I actually felt that this was an important thing to discuss, because in the middle of all of this fear with the clotting, we have a solution. And the solution was this. They are saying, well, if this happens, take rivaroxaban or apixaban. These are simple drugs to get from your doctor. So for example, I was talking with my wife and I was saying, look, if we end up getting AstraZeneca, we should talk with our doctor beforehand and say, hey, put us on aspirin, number one. So do whatever test you want to do and put us on aspirin, number one. And number two, if on fourth, fifth day, so the researchers said 5 day to 17 days time period in which these antibodies are produced. If during this time we feel the breathlessness or the blurred vision or headache persistent or bleeding on the skin or petechial hemorrhages or cold legs or deep vein thrombosis kind of symptoms, then at least we should go to them and say, look at this study and please give us anticoagulants. It can save a person's life. In the heparin-induced thrombocytopenia, they see that when that happens, if they withdraw heparin, within 2 to 3 days, person becomes okay. If I extrapolate that to this side, if the vaccine causes it, may that be AstraZeneca or Pfizer or Moderna or whatever, if that causes it, and we can start timely anti-clotting, within 2-3 days, a person can be saved. What's so bad about that? And so somebody was so upset that you are so enthusiastic about it. I am enthusiastic that there is a solution. Okay, William Goff. You did a video long ago on trial carrageenan nasal spray, but we thought it wasn't available in the use. I just found out that Betadine Defense has iota carrageenan in it, available on Amazon for $70. Awesome. That is great. Thank you very much for sharing this. Yeah. Correct. Zachariah Magalen says, Dr. Mubin, have you found any information on Vax Arts pathway? on which cells it uses to achieve its efficacy. So not yet, but I heard that not yet. So I'm still working on it. Good question. Kenton, so can you please put a Q or question mark so I can easily find the questions? Kenton Morton says, what is the longest someone can go before getting a second shot of Pfizer? Have had a couple of people who take first shot, but it is difficult to find the second. Interestingly, it seems like as you keep going after even the first shot, the efficacy continues to improve. But I cannot say how long because that is something that is not announced. In in UK, we know that they had changed the schedule, that there was 3 months difference between the two shots. Hi, Jenna, how are you? And hope you're doing better. So Jenna says, checking in, getting hydrated tomorrow morning is infusion day. IVIG, nervous and excited. 5 hours long. Hope to see you here tomorrow night. Hopefully you'll do good, Jenna, and IVIG is good. I like this, John. So John is saying that government may be issuing I've been vaccinated ID cards. How about giving IDs for the dedicated iMask Plus users? Yes, I agree. So Marisa says, hi, which vaccine is more effective and safe? So Marisa, I am putting together a chart. That is what I was saying. I was putting that together, but I got distracted. I have to pull that data together to be able to then at least present what data is available. Vicky says some of the cool beans are not so cool. They're hot beans, chili beans. Keep telling the truth and updating the full info. Thank you. Thank you. Will do. So Rami says, I'm from Iraq. I wanted to ask that I did a rapid test and it showed weak IgM and weak IgG. So am I allowed to take AstraZeneca or other types? Basically, Rami, in the US at least, they're saying, and I'm sure this is also the case for Europe and UK as well, and that is that if you were infected, you can take and should take the vaccine. In Israel, I believe they are taking vaccine 3 months after the active infection. So I think my own opinion is that vaccine is not needed. But as you're saying it, if you're seeing weak titers and you are concerned, I think vaccine is okay. So the best is to talk with your doctor as well. Binoy Babu says, is there any problem if after COVID vaccination develops myalgia and take diclofenac sodium injection? Curious after seeing deaths of a lady doctor. In my opinion, so again, my opinion is different. It's not an advice. It's not a prescription. My opinion is just from educational point of view. My opinion is that taking these medicines that reduce the symptoms is not bad. Other than steroids, don't take steroids because they suppress the immune system. Don't take immunosuppressants. However, I am hearing some doctors saying don't do it because it can reduce vaccine's efficacy. CDC says no problem, take painkillers. This is an interesting question, Doug. Will recovered people be forced to get vaccine once the vaccine passport starts? I wish that they don't do this. I think that a person who has been infected should be able to go get the IgG, IgM test, IgG especially, and be able to get the titers. And I think we should get them within 2 months of the infection, because the titers will drop afterwards. And then at least we should be able to present that and say, look, I was infected, here are my titers, they were good enough, why do I need to go get a vaccine? So Annette says, hi, how are you? I just came on, and I'm sure you just have discussed AstraZeneca already. Have you heard about any information on Australian vaccine that is being rolled out right now? If yes, have you seen papers? No, I have not. So is there a different vaccine that is being rolled out in Australia? Rima says, did you rest again? Not yet, but yesterday was good. Um, I've had my hand has been not doing good, so I've been wearing a glove, changed some of my devices as well on a Cool Beans, um, with the Cool Beans help. uh, my hand is becoming better. So there is a question here. Hi, Dr. Bean. I'm from Peru. I had COVID 4 weeks ago with mild symptoms. Now I'm having COVID brain fog for 5 days straight. I went to my endocrinologist and he prescribed statin. So again, not an advice, just an educational point, that statins have been shown, has been known to show effectivity. However, in cases of brain fog, the neck massages, the neck pumps, and then fluvoxamine has been more um, useful. Although fluvoxamine is very scary as well, because it can tilt a person's mood enough to cause suicidal thoughts and or suicide as a side effect. So because of that, it is really important that you talk with the doctor and say, hey, how about fluvoxamine? And then you work together closely on daily basis if they started. Patricia has a good point. She's saying this pandemic has been so long and hard that no way was I going to risk jeopardizing the effectiveness of the vaccine. Thank you, Moderna, by taking anything before or after 1 day of suffering. Makes sense. Good point. And congratulations for the vaccine. Being human, are we? What is going to happen to those of us with severe reactions to medication and injections who can't take the vaccine passports? That is a difficult thing, and I do not know what are they going to do. Ideally, um, what should happen is that you go to the vaccination center, they say you are not eligible because of following reasons, and then they write it down for you and say here. And the problem is, are they then going to let people travel? It just is a strange time. So Jordi says, I don't agree with these vaccine passports for this virus, for something endemic in only in our country or two. Okay, not for something ever changing in the whole world. Agreed. I just so David says, what do you think about the 14-day survival benefit that Cytodine reported today? I did not read that yet. As I said, I was more stuck with the uh, other things. William says, am I being paranoid to not trust the safety data on these shots? Sometimes I feel that if the government, media, and pharma won't be honest about ivermectin, why would they be honest about vaccines? I agree with you. And not only honest, I think there is a problem with the correct execution as well. But let me just, I know, William, that you've been suffering some side effects or lot side effects as well. I am still in line. I still want to get a vaccine. Who knows what would happen to me? I have no idea. But with all of this, I would take the vaccine. Zeni Solo says, question, can RNA vaccine be the cause of new variants to emerge? Zeni, I have answered this question a lot of time. So Emily says, what is the data on whether vaccinated people can spread the virus or not? So don't have much data, except that from Israel, they said that the virus shedding reduced by 70 or so, 72 or 76%. Exactly what is the data, we don't know yet. Or let me say, not we, I haven't seen that exact data yet. Simple Steve says, hit the like button, smash the bell, everyone, make Luffy happy. Absolutely. There are 435 people. So, hit the like button. Absolutely. Gold Country Russ. Question, Manuel Yangal, I'm from Peru. I had COVID 4 weeks ago. Oh, so I think you are. Yes, so I just responded to them. Gold. Thank you very much. Uh, Paul Borg says Australia is using AstraZeneca, I believe. And Eric is from Australia as well. Eric, I was reading your comments. So when people do this, what they did this morning, then I go and read comments from Cool Beans. So I was reading your comments. They're so fun to read your comments with the coffees. Stephen Westman says, slight skeptic of tough to make antibody beyond ivermectin. Has there been much progress on new COVID treatments, antiviral or not, trial data? So as you know that there are some pills that are being made, for example, Merck has something, and there are some nasal sprays which are antiviral, not vaccine. So there are more progress that is going on. To me, it seemed like, at least with the pill, that was a knockoff of a function of ivermectin, one part of it. So there is something that is happening, yes. Thank you, Eric. Actually, coffees with beautiful words in there, beautiful stories in there. I love them. I read them and I smile. So thank you. John Rias, coffees to Dr. Bean and catnip for Luffy. Yes. Then Simple Steve says, how are Brazil, Italy, and France doing now? So let's look at them. So if we go here to Worldometer, let's start with Israel. Love it. Look at this. The cases, if I go for 7-day average, 421 compared to the peak, 8,000. And if I go for 3-day average, increased a little bit from 240 to 418, maybe data reporting time, weekends. So really reduced. Active cases are down, and I'm sure that number of deaths are down as well. So this is Israel. Now, if we look at, let's say, Brazil, we used to go Israel, US, UK. So let's look at US as well. So US is just consistent at this level. Look at this. We're not doing great in US, but we are doing much better than this situation. Thankfully, we are doing much better than that. Active cases are still high. Deaths have reduced really a lot. So if I do 3-day average, 687 to, let's say, 1200, compared to the peak 3000 or 4000. So not 3 or 4 times reduction. Again, that is good. UK. UK has this, again, Israel and UK. Look at UK. Consistent at this level, but still going down. Look, do you see this little fancy decline once more over here? So they are actually doing good. And look, trending down even more. So 4,185 3-day average. compared to 60,000 3-day average. So huge difference. Look at the number of cases down. Beautiful. And I love it. Look at the number of deaths down. At least as much as at some point we were criticizing UK for weird ways. Even now, my criticism with ivermectin stands. But look at the control they have done, the protection they've offered. So awesome. Okay, so now let's see Brazil. Brazil, please don't be bad. Okay, so not the best. Let's do 7-day to see what's happening. Trending up. Brazil is trending up. Look at this. Active cases all going up. And here, deaths are going up too. So Brazil is not doing good. Brazil, France. So France, so if you remove this long spike, then France has almost gotten the equal sized second wave. That's not good. 7 days average going upwards. 3-day average at this time down, but they are up again. So active cases very high, not declining, and then this as well. And it is interesting that some of the folks, so Brazil, France, and what else did you want to check? Forgot. And some of the folks thought that I am somehow playing some Europe, UK politics. I did not even think about that. So Doug says Bulgaria and Zimbabwe, also Viptadil applied for EUA. That will be awesome. Viptadil is good. So let's look at Bulgaria and Zimbabwe. I hope I can just type here. Bulgaria. Wow, not good. Almost bigger, second wave and almost bigger. Active cases are going upwards, although lesser than previous wave, but trending upwards. And deaths are upwards as well. So how are they managing in Bulgaria? Do they have a strict control over things like ivermectin? Zimbabwe. 36,000 cases. Wow, this is good. Look at this. Almost no cases. Look at this. Active 702 total active. What is the population of Zimbabwe? Alexa, what is the population of Zimbabwe?
In 2020, the population of Zimbabwe was 14.9 million people.
So 14.9 million people and 702. That's good. Number of deaths are low as well. Very good on Zimbabwe. What are they doing good over there? Let's look at India as well. India. Somebody had sent me a link saying that those states that are using ivermectin are not rising like this, but other states that are not are rising. So if you see here, there is a rise, but it looks like it is trending downwards again. Active cases going up. Number of deaths increasing as well. So that is India. What else? So somebody had a super chat. Thank you very much. Italia. So let's do that. Italy. Daily new cases going up. Although a tinier wave, but there is a second wave. Their previous peak was about 38,000, 39,000 on a day, and here 23,000. So almost half. That's not good. And yeah, it seems like almost half active cases. This is what scares me. So if you look at it, of course, the number of deaths are then going up as well. So at least not doing good. Why not? What happened? Did they stop the medication? Did they stop the social distancing, lockdowns? What is different? Arham says Pakistan. So let's look at it. So Pakistan, third wave, first wave, second wave, third wave, and bigger than the second wave. And I know some of it that Pakistan has, many people have not been taking care. Even the prime minister himself got the infection. So what happens is Pakistan controls it, just like here, and then they become careless. And then they get another wave, they control it, then they become careless again. And the carelessness, for example, schools open up, colleges open up, tests start, students are asked not to do online tests anymore, they have to come in person, and so they start forcing the gathering, and a lot of population is youngsters over there, so they go to schools and colleges, they bring the infections back, and then it starts spreading again. And this time it is spreading faster as well because of the new variants. So deaths are following that too, unfortunately. Afia Carter says Zimbabwe has a doctor by the name of Jackie Stone that's using silver and ivermectin to treat patients. She's a video on YouTube on it. You should check it out. Okay, will do. Tom Johnson says, why don't you compare Portugal and Israel together? Let's see. How is the management in Portugal? Oh, wow. Look at it. Alexa, what is the population of Portugal?
In 2020, the population of Portugal was 10.2 million people.
Okay, 10. So almost similar to Israel. Look at this. Almost no cases. Beautiful. So 399, very similar. So did they vaccinate? Let's look at the Bloomberg and see if Portugal is here. Portugal, where? Here. So 11% only, 11% one shot and 4% two shots. And even then, the results are awesome. What is it that they're doing? Look at the cases going down. So Tom, tell me, are you aware? Look at this. Number of deaths are very low as well. This is great. Do you know what they're doing in Portugal? So ATF says what is going on in Vietnam. So I had, in the very early talks, I had talked about Vietnam and South Korea, that they had done very good as well. Actually, extremely good. Sorry, I have to learn how to spell Vietnam. So that will be, how do you spell Vietnam? Apologies, don't be upset. I'll find it. So here I spelled correctly. No, not really. Vietnam. So Vietnam. What? I can't even write it. Countries. Vietnam. So why does it not appear here? I have to close this and start it again. Worldometer, go to Israel, then countries. It's going to take some time to load now. Exit page. So this happens when I am sharing my screen. Then the VIET and AM. No, why not? I thought I am not typing correctly, but seems like something else. So let's look at, how about we do this? We'll say worldometer and then VIET and AM Vietnam here. Okay, so this is why Viet-NAM is the one they're using. So I was typing correctly. Wow, very good. Look at this. 7 cases. Beautiful. And no deaths. Since when? Since September 3rd of last year. No deaths from COVID. Yeah, these are the countries to follow to see. Even look, they have cases and no deaths. Very good. I love it. Janet Maslate says 160 likes to Luffy. Absolutely. Okay. So yeah, so I think the spelling problem was at Viet-NAM. So ATF, that is a very good question. That what are they doing? I'm going to look it up. Sable Steve, thank you very much. Let's hit the like button. Texas Max says these were the countries scared stiff by SARS-CoV-1. So they had learned their lessons. Buddha says Philippines. So let's see. Let's hope I can now. Philippines. And then, oh wow, that's not good. They have a second wave, which is much larger than the first wave. So 9,620 compared to fourth, almost more than double. Why? Deaths are not as high. So let's see when did they start? So they started rising on March 2. So at least 6 weeks later. So by April mid, these would catch up. I hope not. It is fine. They don't have much deaths. That is good. But the cases are rising. I do not know why. So Scarlett Monahan says, thoughts on nicotine patches or gum as a protection against COVID. So they themselves are not a protection, but those folks who were smokers. So this was a very specific case in France, that what happened was those people who were smokers, when they became COVID positive, then they became severe. Smokers get a more severe case and they were hospitalized. Now they were getting beaten up by COVID even more because nicotine was protective for SARS-CoV-2 in their cases because of the receptor numbers being different. So the hospital had recommended that those folks who had who were smokers and whose receptor levels are actually arranged, or number of receptors are, or density of receptor is modulated by nicotine. Immediately stopping nicotine was causing issues with the receptors, because it can take up to 7 to 15 days for the receptor numbers to correct. You know how withdrawals are. So they said, meantime, continue to give them nicotine, otherwise they would have the effect of less number of receptors present, or sorry, more number of receptors present. So that was the thing. So nicotine itself, let's say if I'm not a smoker and just start taking nicotine, that is not protective. M. St. Clair says, I worry WHO won't say positive things about ivermectin. And that is a problem. This has been always a problem with the leadership. For example, this morning when people were upset with me, they were upset that why am I bringing this up to the general public? Although this is public information, there is a study and they're talking about that study, and so many news outlets are talking about it. If WHO or the EMA, European Medicine Agency, had picked it up and said, look, in the rare case, there are 18 deaths out of 20, 30 million vaccinations. So when you do the number ratio, it is a small thing, but it is a situation where you can save someone and easily save them by giving anti-clotting factors. So please add this set of symptoms to observation, and in that case start giving this, and they would save everyone. This should have been WHO, this should have been EMA, this should have been CDC, or whoever are the authorities, instead of saying, well, there is no real conclusion we can form, we think that the benefit outweigh the risk and we think we should continue. Well, guys, this is a simple thing to control it. And so then when people like me would bring it up, then folks would attack them. Depends who is on what side. And so then they would start attacking the messenger. This is why health leadership organizations were supposed to have this job of making these things a priority to make people aware of them. Birch says, question, when Zimbabwe, third parliamentarian, were given placebo and 3 ivermectins, the 3 placebo died and the other 3 lived. Now the PM ordered free ivermectin for everyone. Wow, that is interesting. That is interesting. That is really good. I mean, not good that people died, but good that they have made it free. And this is the thing, people don't have to die to make these things available. Why do people have to die from a vaccine clotting when we can give anti-clotting and protect them? Similarly, why should people die of the COVID if we can give ivermectin and reduce the efficacy, the severity of the disease, protect them from it? Why not? William Goff says, vitamin D. We are told to take vitamin K2 if taking vitamin D3, 10,000 units or above. If we are doing daily sunbathing, trying to get 10 to 20, do we need vitamin K2? So ideally, it is possible that you can do sunbathing and produce this. But generally, what you should do is that you should have enough vitamin K2 to help with the calcium hemostasis so it doesn't end up in the wrong places. Hopefully, we would not sunbathe every day. But if that is the case, then yes. Golmukh, yes. Golmukh, I saw you after a long time. Leo Luna says, which state has the least COVID cases? That is very interesting. I will have to look it up without wasting your time. Very interesting. Thank you, John. So if you click on the country, it shows it by state, and then if you click on the state, it shows it by country. Skyfrog says, so I need to start smoking. Are cigars okay? No, Skyfrog. Okay, so Sapel Steve, once again, thank you very much. Let's answer a couple of more questions and then we break for today. Carla Macaulay Camp says, any thoughts on Covaxin vaccine? I'm thinking about that one since it is made of the original standard way with attenuated virus. Is it available in the US? I think I talked about it and it seems to be fine. I think it is not in the US yet. And when I discussed it, they were working with their partners in the US to get their approvals. That's what I remember. I may be wrong. FC J Can says, hi, Dr. Bean, do you know if it is possible to get an ileus after receiving the vaccine? At least none of the vaccines that I have discussed have shown this as a side effect. But it is an inflammatory outcome, and I think any of the inflammatory outcome may be possible. This is just my opinion, no prescription, no advice, but they have not shown it in their data. Art Patron Forever says, AstraZeneca is not effective against South African variant, but ivermectin is Zimbabwe. It is approved. Ivermectin is good for all. Simple Meerkat says, because you're buried in bureaucracy. Yes, but this was an exceptional time. Everyone had to wake up and rise up and do something better. Maybe once in their whole life, do something that was selfless, that was honest, that was sincere to people. Bob Bissell says, answer is evil loves manipulation and money. Yes, Marcos. Roman says, it's Doctor Appreciation Day today. You have done so much for the greater good for humanity. Thank you. You should consider a 501c3 like FLCCC. Thank you very much. And I would do that. Thank you very much. Golmuk says, fluvoxamine seems to be moving towards the approval process too. It won't be the last. Other SSI are being tested too. I would love it, because whoever had the neurological issues, and whenever I said, how did you recover, they said fluvoxamine. Even today, there was a few days ago, some of the consultant doctors have been reaching out to me and saying, what drugs have you seen lately? And I've been talking about fluvoxamine, and always they come back with great results. So I'm so happy that fluvoxamine, it is a scary drug in terms of the side effects. So please do not take it over the counter. Do not take it without a doctor's observation, but it is a beautiful drug for long haulers as well, and for those folks with neurological symptoms and for acute disease as well. It's great. Sorry, I was trying to click on a question. Deba Lowen says, what can those of us that are allergic to most meds and can't take vaccine protect ourselves? So this is why I have been talking about ivermectin, vitamin D, and the other supplements. Right from the beginning, it is, so there is a situation where you can somebody can legitimately not take vaccine. There are folks who have other reasons for not taking it. Then there are folks like me who want to take it. And I hope, fingers crossed, I hope the experience doesn't go bad. So there should be solutions that are available. If we didn't have, for example, if we said this is a virus, there is no solution for the virus, we are not going to do anything. Fine, but there are solutions. The whole world is finding solutions. There are solutions, and we should, and by we I mean medical leadership, should make these available. Ali G says, my wife has been suffering from leg pain and sweating after first dose of AstraZeneca. Is it normal? So the leg pain may be a sign, depends upon how many days, but that could be a sign of thrombosis or clotting. So please do talk with them. I hope she does not have any bleeding or other disorders. And to be on the safer side, talk with the doctor and get some anti-clotting for a few days. See, this is what I wanted to discuss in the morning, where people started attacking me that, why are you discussing this? So Aliji, please talk with the doctor. And there is even a test for this. A doctor can then say, fine, I'm going to look at the antibodies that are going against the platelet, and I'll see if that is happening. If I am the doctor, I would not even wait for the test result. I would start giving some blood thinners after looking at patient's history and seeing if they can, and just protect them while we get the test done. Anna Strange says, taking second Pfizer Friday. How many days should I isolate from unvaccinated family members in my home? So Pfizer says 7 days after the second dose is when they have the confidence that you're fully or 94% protected. That is very interesting. Cynthia says, how is Sweden doing with their cases and deaths? Let's see. Wow, that's not good. So they had the first one, then they kind of controlled it. Then they went into a second wave, bigger wave. Now they are in a third wave, bigger as well, but not as big as second. So in the second peak, they had 8,807. Here, 1,650, and at the peak, 7,000. So really almost similar peak, not exactly the same. And then they have started having, so look, their death rates had actually been controlled. And now there is this outlier-like thing. I hope it doesn't continue, but there is something. What is the total cases, active cases? They don't have active cases. So Sweden is not doing good, at least from this numbers, other than the number of deaths are low, which is good. Is it because the folks died in the previous spikes and there are now more care around the vulnerable? So Westfield says, Dr. Bean, in California, you can get vaccinated starting April 1. Will you get it or will you wait for Novavax? I'll get it. And so I have received the email that, hey, we are going to start from 1st April and we'll let you know when you can, we'll give you the registry and then we still have to put you in a line and all that. So I am going to get it. I am a little nervous, but I'm going to get it. I don't know which vaccine they're going to offer. Goldmark says, feeling ready for you advise take a couple of days off. Cool. So one more question and then we stop. Little girl says, who do we contact for ivermectin? Not all doctors are supporting it. So if you go to flccc.net, you would see that over there is a button that says donate. And then just below the button, there is another button that says how to get ivermectin. And they have a list of doctors, at least in the US. Then in that list, let me show you. In that list, they also then have another list from existence.com. So if you go to flccc.net, then see this button, how to get ivermectin. If you click on this one, you will come across one more page that shows doctors who are prescribing it. And if you were in a different country, then you can go to directory of doctors prescribing ivermectin. This is existence.com. And here, if you see, there are more doctors in various countries who they have a list of. I know UK is not in this list. And for folks in UK, they have been using online pharmacies to get ivermectin. Cool. So this is where we are at for today. I hope that you're all. Doug says Luffy AWOL. Yes, so Luffy is. I'll have to coax him in tomorrow. So thank you very much for your time. And please like, subscribe, and share. There are 3 links in the description as well if you wanted to support or buy me coffees or become a patron. And I would see you tomorrow. So there are some more questions. Let me see if I can just quickly answer them. Kevin says, Dr. Bean, would Pfizer protect against variants? So in the time frame of this study, December 20th till end of February, end of January, Israel had variants as well, and Pfizer showed good efficacy. So from that data, the answer seems to be yes. Then Edmund says, what has changed? What makes you nervous about vaccines? I must have missed the video. Can you point me to it? Nothing, just in general, the side effects, the anaphylaxis. So I do not know if I'm allergic or not. I'm allergic to general things, but I never had any severe allergic reactions. That is one. The clotting, I do not know if Moderna would cause clotting and if they're gonna. So there are so many unknowns in there that makes me nervous. And I think that's a natural reaction at this time. Cool. Yeah, so seasonal allergies. My nose is still stuffy. Cool. So, cool beans, I would see you tomorrow. There is one more question. CJ says, how may I learn when these presentations go live? I always find them late or long after they've been live. So CJ, if you subscribe to the channel, there are 2 times that are important. One is 9 in the morning Pacific time daily, and the other one is 6 in the evening Pacific time daily, except Sundays. So that is just general. So if you go to my channel, you would see that it would say going live or waiting, and then you can open it. So thank you very much, and I would see you tomorrow. So actually, Rima, that is a good question. So did I retest the IgGs? Not yet. So I would do it tomorrow, and I'll update everyone. So thank you very much. Bye-bye.